There's a guard standing inside your wallet right now. You've never seen his face, you've never signed his contract, but every single time you almost save money, almost invest, almost say no to something you don't actually need, he's the one making the final call. And here's the part that should stop you cold: he doesn't work for you. He works for a version of you that died out 40,000 years ago, and nobody ever told him the job ended. You feel this every day, even if you've never put words to it. You open your banking app and your chest tightens half a second before the number even loads. You promise yourself you'll start saving next month, and next month arrives wearing the exact same face as this one. You watch a stranger unbox something shiny online, and a hot, wordless little voice tells you that you deserve one too, not eventually, now. That's not weakness. That's not a character flaw you need to fix with more discipline. That's your guard doing precisely what he was built to do, standing at a post that stopped existing a very long time ago. Think about that for a moment. Somewhere behind your ribs, there is a piece of machinery older than agriculture, older than money itself, older than the concept of later. It was assembled for a world with no banks, no invoices, no interest rates, a world where the only currency that mattered was whether you'd survive until sunrise. And that machinery is still running, still voting. Still, in a very real sense, still in charge, every time your hand hovers over a purchase you didn't plan to make. And here's what almost nobody ever tells you. This guard doesn't run one alarm, he runs three. Three separate systems, firing independently, sometimes all at once, and each one is quietly withdrawing money from your life without ever showing up on a statement. The first alarm is the oldest. Picture your ancestors at the edge of a dark tree line, food scarce, shelter uncertain, every decision weighed against the possibility of not waking up tomorrow. Back then, losing something, a meal, a weapon, a member of the group, could mean the difference between morning and no morning at all. So the brain wrote a rule and never updated it. A loss hurts almost twice as hard as an equal gain feels good. Harmless sounding, until you watch what it does to your money in real time. It's why you keep holding a stock that's bleeding out, refusing to sell, because selling would make the loss permanent, real, undeniable, a wound you'd have to look directly at. It's why cash sits rotting in an account earning next to nothing, quietly losing value to inflation every single year, because at least it's not shrinking anywhere you can watch it happen. Your guard isn't protecting your money there. He's protecting himself from the feeling of failure, and you're the one covering the bill month after month without ever being told the invoice exists. Now, right as you start to understand that danger, the second alarm goes off. And this one doesn't sound like fear at all, it sounds like a reward. Your guard has a second job description, and it's an old one. Make sure you eat today, because on the savannah, tomorrow was never a guarantee. So every time something offers pleasure right now, a chemical rushes through your brain and screams, take it before it's gone. That's the card swipe for something you never planned to buy. That's "I'll build the budget on Monday," said with total sincerity every single Friday and forgotten by the following Wednesday. Your guard cannot see 30 years into the future he was never built to. Retirement, compound interest, an emergency fund. To him, those aren't rewards, they're ghosts, abstractions, numbers on a screen that mean nothing next to the very real, very immediate pull of something glowing in front of him right now. And an abstraction has never once beaten a reward standing directly in front of you, available, immediate, already halfway into your cart. If those were the only two tricks, logic could probably win eventually. Given enough time, enough willpower, enough sticky notes on the fridge, you could out-argue fear and outweight craving. But there's a third alarm, and it's the one your guard is proudest of, the one that keeps people quietly broke while looking completely fine from the outside, smiling in every photo, drowning behind every smile. 40,000 years ago, status inside the tribe wasn't vanity. It was survival math, cold and literal. Being seen as strong, capable, worth keeping around, that decided who got fed first when the season turned lean, who got protected when danger came close. So your guard wrote a rule and carved it in deep: be seen as thriving at almost any cost. He never updated that rule either. Today it isn't aimed at 30 people around a fire anymore. It's aimed at everyone: a coworker's new car pulling into the lot, a stranger's vacation photos scrolling past at 2 a.m., a neighbor's kitchen renovation glowing warm through the window as you walk your trash to the curb. Your guard reads every one of those as a threat to your rank in a tribe that no longer exists, and he will spend money you don't have to defend a rank that was never real to begin with. Here's the detail that should unsettle you most. The people who look the wealthiest online are very often the ones bleeding out the fastest, in private, behind a smile built for an audience that will never see the bank statement. Real financial security tends to be quiet. It doesn't post. It doesn't need to. So there it is, fear that won't let you take a healthy risk, craving that won't let you wait one more day, status anxiety that won't let you sit still and let something grow slowly, invisibly, without applause. 3 alarms, 1 guard, all doing exactly what kept your ancestors alive, while working minute by minute silently against the life you're actually trying to build right now. Here's the part that changes everything though, and it's not what you'd expect. You cannot fire this guard. He isn't a bad habit you break through sheer willpower. He's wired into the architecture of you, older than language, older than choice itself. And fighting him head-on is precisely why most plans collapse by week 3 in the exact same way, for the exact same invisible reason, and you blame yourself every time it happens. What you can do instead is stop asking him to make decisions he was never designed to make, and quietly hand those decisions somewhere else, somewhere he can't reach. Against the fear of loss, you don't argue with him in the moment, because in the moment, he always wins. You make the loss disappear before he ever notices it happened. Move the money the instant it arrives, automatically, silently, before his alarm even has a chance to sound. Against the craving for instant reward, you don't rely on willpower in the heat of the moment, because willpower loses that fight almost every time it's called. You install a delay before he does, a simple pause before any purchase that isn't essential, just long enough for the slower, wiser part of your brain to finally show up to a meeting it was never even invited to. And against the need to be seen as thriving, you starve the comparison at its source. Every minute spent watching someone else's spending is a minute spent feeding an alarm that's reading a threat that was never real to begin with. Mute it and the pull quiets down faster than you'd expect, often within days, sometimes within hours, once the signal simply stops arriving. None of this asks you to become someone more disciplined than you already are. It only asks you to understand that the voice telling you to spend, to hoard, to keep up, was never lying to you. It was answering a question nobody has asked out loud in 40,000 years, using the only tools it was ever given, doing its best with instructions that expired long before you were born. The guard isn't your enemy. He's simply out of date, standing post at a door that closed centuries before your grandparents were born, still saluting a world that ended a long time ago. And the moment you see him clearly, really see him mid-alarm, doing exactly what he was built to do, is the moment he stops running the show without your permission. Because the real shift was never about learning some clever new trick to outsmart your own brain. It was about realizing your brain was never broken to begin with. It's simply been guarding the wrong century, waiting at his post for a threat that stopped coming a long, long time ago, refusing to leave until someone finally tells him the war is over. And once you know which alarm is sounding in real time while it's still happening, that's the exact instant it finally loses its grip on you.